What is up? Doing another Q&A question and answer session, early as shit in the morning edition. Fotis Rocanus asked me, basically, he's 6'1", he's 185 pounds, and he's got about 12% body fat. And he's a relatively new lifter, new to lifting weights, new to training and stuff, and he was wondering, basically his question was, what kind of nutrition should he be doing? What, like, how much protein should he be eating? Should he be worrying about bulking or cutting or what? Well, first off, as far as I'm concerned with strength sport athletes, bulking and cutting need to be two words that just are instantly just deleted from your vernacular. Like, if you want to be strong, you're not bulking or cutting anymore. You're either going up a weight class or going down a weight class. And that's really about all that matters. I mean, it's stupid. Those are just stupid bodybuilding terms that, I don't know, that stupid fucking teenagers picked up on the first time they read Flex magazine, and now that's the end-all be-all of nutrition and eating cycles throughout the year. It's like part of their circadian rhythms or something like that. Like, oh, bro, you gotta bulk during the winter, and then you cut during the summer, and then you do it all over again. You climb halfway up a mountain, and then you throw yourself off of it, and then you just do that ad nauseum, and at some point, you'll be better. It's stupid. So, for someone in your shoes, well, first off, I hate getting asked nutrition questions, not because, I mean, I don't know anything about it or anything, but I feel like there's a lot better, a lot more qualified people to answer these kinds of questions than me, honestly. I mean, it's just out of my wheelhouse. It's not something I've been asked to do nutrition stuff in the past, and just like, I mean, I'm just, you know, I don't know. I feel bad. I feel like I'm cheating people out of information when I'm talking about something that I'm not, you know, not certain on. Just, you know, I'm not as good at talking about it as some other people are, and I don't know as much as some other people. So it's just, I can just give you some of my opinions, because I know when I started lifting weights, I was probably around in the same boat, except I was more along the lines of like 165 pounds or so, and since then I've gone all the way up to close to 300. The heaviest I've ever competed at is 295. And then, so I mean, I know a thing or two about putting some weight on, but that wasn't necessarily, you know, the healthiest way to do it. That was like McDonald's for breakfast, Wendy's for lunch, Taco Bell for dinner kind of diet. But as far as your situation, the first thing I would look to do, I mean, obviously you're just gonna gain weight. I mean, take advantage of this time where, you know, you're so early on in training. You just have. You're going to be able to walk into a weight room and fart on a dumbbell and probably gain 20 pounds on each of your lifts and 20 pounds of body weight relatively quickly. So just, you know, really take advantage of this time. I'd recommend picking up a couple of different books on it. Like, I mean, I know when I first started getting into lifting and everything when I was in high school, like pretty seriously, like anyway, I picked up a book called Power Eating. That was a really good one. I believe that was the one by Dr. Kleiner, Dr. Susan Kleiner. That was a really cool read. I mean, it talked about there's all kinds of different. That might have been Dr. Ivy, actually. Whatever. Power Eating is the name of the book. As long as you get that one, you'll be all right. That one, and Nutrient Timing, was another awesome read. I mean, worst case scenario, spend a couple $100. Hire a nutritionist. I'd strongly suggest Renaissance Periodization. They're awesome. They're putting out awesome stuff. I mean, they're good people. I've worked with them in the past and have nothing but positive things to say about them. So that's one thing. So as far as like your actual body weight and getting all that stuff up, I mean, it's going to go up just, I mean, it's going to go up just on its own, but especially with it being earlier on, I would suggest just cramming your face full of, you know, every single of the highest end caloric recommendations. Yes, specific question about protein. Again, you know, most of the research kind of suggests anything. You don't really need any more than 1 gram per pound of body weight. I know that's kind of the generally kind of accepted thing. You know, as far as stuff that's worked for me in the past, I've always been a little bit higher than that, probably closer to like 1.2, 1.5. That's something I've noticed it works for me, but I'm typically what you would, you know, even though I'm talking about my body weight fluctuations, I'm typically what like people would consider like a hard gainer. I mean, I don't have a fucking fast metabolism because that's not a real thing. Like I have it's tough for me to gain weight. I think it's because I have an active lifestyle, active jobs. I train really hard, so it just takes a lot of food going into my mouth to make me gain weight. So I kind of lean towards the higher end of every recommendation I can find, just to kind of justify, well, number one, eating food all day long, but then it's really the only way I can really gain any significant amount of weight or size or anything. Especially, I'm 31 now, so my body's going through changes, and no, it takes a lot for me to gain weight, and it always has. So yeah, so as far as your body fat percentage question, it's interesting you brought that up, because I was just reading some stuff on this the other day. I mean, basically, there's a lot of research that has suggested body fat ranges for strike sports, powerlifting, whatever, and typically the generally kind of agreed upon range for like just optimal kind of strength and everything like that, without affecting like aerobic capacity and things, it's around 15 to 20%. So I mean, that's kind of goes away from the typical like, oh, big fat bastard powerlifter like sweating his ass off, waddling up to the squat bar for his first warm-up set. If you're out of breath tying your fucking shoes, you might be in trouble there. But it's interesting with that 15 to 20% range when you think of it on like this is kind of where my head goes when I read shit like this. When you think about it on the long enough timeline of actual human history, I mean, still us living in houses and cities and things like that is still kind of a relatively new concept, in the entire scope of our time on this planet as a species. So when you think about it, like, why would that 15 to 20% range be ideal? Well, odds are, our hunter-gatherer Neanderthal ancestors, anything under that range was most likely too small or too sick to survive a hunt. To be able to go out on a hunt, find something big enough to kill, to drag back, to be strong enough to drag it back to the village, and so the village can eat. Anything over that range, you're probably too slow. You're probably too slow to outrun a fucking grizzly bear, so you get eaten by it, and you're probably a really good meal if you're over 20% body fat. Back in hunter-gatherer days. So I don't know. It's interesting shit to think about. Like, why is that our optimal range? Why we've been relatively morbidly obese society for long enough. Like, when we're gonna adapt to it eventually, assuming we all don't die off because we killed ourselves because we live terrible, terrible lifestyles with horrible qualities of life. But still, I don't know, just interesting stuff. So ideally, if you do start packing on some weight, it might be something you do want to, pay attention to. And I mean, there's like kind of conversion comparison charts on like different body types and body fat percentages you can find online. You can go buy some cheap skin calipers and keep track of it that way. But yeah, I'd strongly suggest not going over that 20%, because it's just you might not need to. I mean, and plus with the amount of just kind of neurological adaptations you still have that are in full swing, being a new lifter, you're going to gain weight. That's not going to be a problem. I mean, like I said, you're going to walk into a weight room and just like sneeze on a fucking dumbbell and gain 20 pounds. But anyway, yeah, man, hopefully that answered your question. Hopefully those 2 books are pretty good resources. Hopefully you check out Renaissance Periodization and those guys and stuff. I mean, there's plenty of other options out there too. I mean, those are the most recent guys that I worked with, and I have nothing but good things to say about them. So definitely check that out, and they'll get you pointed in the right direction. And then, yeah, man, hopefully that helped.